Right, actually, what I am going to do is take my socks off. The radiator is on, so I will be just adjusting that for a second. Okay, good morning and welcome, beautiful people. How are we? So what I'd like to do today is incorporate band work into this session. Start again. I want to incorporate band work into this session. Using a TheraBand is excellent for strength work. We use the bands to either assist movement or to resist movement. So we're going to have a little play around with these. We haven't done it for a while. I thought it'd be nice to bring it back to the table. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is get you on the floor in a 90-90 position to mobilize the hips. I know, straight up, I know. So what I'm looking at is a way of just mobilising your hips, Mary. So for the rest of you, 90-90, up and over. We're just going to do that, roll around your floor, looking just gorgeous. Mary, options, just knee drops. Okay, so you just take it. So think, Sue, wide knees, so when you come up, your feet are wide, and then over to the other side. Feet are wide, and over to the other side. So straight away, this is engaging your core muscles, but it's having a look at the movement through your hips, because we really need to get them nice and mobile. Okay, and remember, this is always about when niggles turn to nasties as well, so areas that we need to work on maybe a little bit more. Okay, so we're sat. Take your arms behind you, turn your fingers out. So this is our sat at the beach position. Then I want you to lengthen through the spine and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Push the ground away with the heels of your hands. Okay, we're going to uncross the legs. Okay, point your toes and flex your feet. Point your toes and look up. Flex your feet, look down. Point your toes, look up. Squeeze your shoulder blades. So we're looking at flex feet, looking at ceiling, point your toes. So this is a little bit of spinal flossing as we get going. Last time. Okay, and sit a little bit more upright, but it's okay to put your weight into your hands. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to lift one leg and then the other. So what normally happens is, because we just dive straight in, what normally happens is this: we start to get tired quickly and we start rolling through the back. So really focus on an upright posture. Now this is something that we need to work on. Keep the elbows long and strong. Notice any weaknesses. Notice that one side will might feel a bit stronger or less mobile maybe than the other. So just notice. And if you need to repeat a few more on one side more than the other, whilst keeping your shoulder blades pinched together, whilst being nice and upright, please do so. God, throwing you right the way in. Okay, we're flipping the body over. Just watch for a second. 4-point kneeling position, hand to ear, elbow to wrist, elbow to sky. Elbow to wrist, elbow to sky. Oh, so this is a little piece of movement around that spinal mobility, just getting that three-dimensional move in and around the spine. If you feel you can make that bigger, take your elbow to the wrist, arm to the sky. Elbow to wrist, arm to sky. Lovely. Morning, Chris. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So we start, think of the long spine, elbow touches opposite wrist, elbow to sky. Use your breath. So you might feel this around the ribs, you might feel this around the spine. So this is just getting that mobility in. Lovely. That's it. Good job. Now watch. I'm going to set myself up, front leg 90 at the knee, and with my arms I'm going to twist, so my front knee, right elbow, right knee, come forward, center, switch. So again, you might feel this feels quite strong around the rib cage. We need to unsticky the body. If you find taking your fingers to your temples too much, just reduce your arms. There is another way to do this, straightening out your arms at the end. Fingers to ears, rotate. This is mostly, again, that spine connection to top down. Okay, when you're ready, switch sides. This bit always cracks me up because the balance of the body is like, oh, I don't like that. Don't like that so much. Lovely. So these are all functional movements. They may not feel as flowy as a typical Pilates session, but the important thing is here we're getting that three-dimensional movement. We're getting lots of body parts moving in different planes. And to reinforce that, we're going to come down onto our side, create a bit of space in front of us as we stay with that rotation. Fingertips touch. Allow the shoulder blades to roll onto the floor and open the chest. Look away, bring the arm back, fingertips touch. Now if you want to, you could go a little bit further, slide the top hand over the bottom hand and then continue with that slide. Oh, that feels nice. I've had a weekend of moving big furniture. So this is a nice, lovely little stretch for me. Now, this time, keep your fingertips touched together, facing forward. Your top arm is now going to draw a circle overhead, all the way out to 3 o'clock on the opposite side, up to 12, and then back to 9. I can't remember. We used to give this a name. I can't remember what it's called. You can hear me. I'm kind of like doing big breaths. Yeah, sunshine arms. I'm trying to do big breaths here because I just really want the rib cage to open up. Okay, when you're ready, let's switch sides. And the same rules. So we start 90-90, hips nice and stacked. Fingers touch, we come up and over. So we're going up towards the ceiling and back. And if you can, try and keep your knees to touch. So focus on allowing that stretch to get bigger and bigger, open up the space from the pelvis, the top of the hips, to the bottom of the rib cage. We're opening up that space. Now if you want to make that bigger, the hands touch, but the top hand slides right the way forward. So we're getting a lovely reach and stretch through the upper back. Lovely. And now with your fingertips connected, we do those sunshine arms. So right the way up and around. So we draw that rainbow on the ground. That nice, right? Okay. So I feel like I'm moving you up and down, back and forth. Sorry about that. Right, what we're going to do is this. we are going to make a loop with the band. Do you remember when we used to make these? Bows are preferred to knots, only because you can undo them better. Now we're coming into standing, so in a standing position, but the band is going to go around the ankles, part one. Oh, I just realised this might hurt. I've got a sore ankle. Don't ask. Oh, go on, ask. I might have been drunk and fell off a boat, but it's really tender still. Right, okay, so we're back into full standing, Owen. Lovely. Okay, so remember how I introduced this? Bands are designed to assist movement or resist movement. In the first place, we're going to resist, okay? So feet are wider than hip width and focus on the outside edges of the foot. So we're thinking more around the baby toe, right? So just work on that for a moment. We're just going to roll out and in, roll out. So roll from there, because the resistance is going to try and get the ankles to cave in. So I want you to push into the outside edge of the ankles. At the same time, I'd like you to think about lifting up through the pelvic floor. So as your ankles roll out, you feel this natural spiraling that happens through the body. So, whoop, and a little bit of a butt clench. And once we got that, we think about the rest of the body. So we spiral outwards, press into the baby toes, we squeeze through the butt, center and engage through the core, lift up through the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and here we are in our lovely prime position. Okay, so from here, we're just going to draw some circles with the hips, lulling you into a false sense of security like I'd like to, and then we switch directions. So we just do 4 or 5 one way, 4 or 5 in the opposite direction, and then repeat. Lovely. Well done. Okay, now this happens, wide base sway. So let's take our time with this. Push into the ground, lift the heel, pop the heel down, switch sides. So it really is bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, good. Okay, so there's an art, isn't there? Heel down, heel up, heel down, heel up. Good. Now we're really thinking about the spread of the toes as we create this movement. So if you're starting to feel niggles into the back, try to, because we often would think about like just dumping into the hips. So we've got to go long and tall into this movement. So really think about elongating. There you go, lovely. Okay, now here's the change. So we're lifting into a balance, but the feet width stays the same. Transfer, lift, foot down. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to take our time with this. So the toe is barely leaving the ground, but you feel like it's a controlled move rather than a shove. Okay, so we're really subtly moving the body under control, which is one of the key components to Pilates. You should by now be feeling something going on into the hip and butt, yes? Can I have a thumbs up? Right, good, good, good. Phew, like not just me. Okay, and here's the change. We will transfer, lift, back, forward, down. Transfer and lift, back, forward, down. Now the resistance, so the band is going to try and bring the legs closer together. We need to try and maintain the same movement right the way through it. So stay wide, push back, stay wide, foot down. There's going to be a huge conversation going on into the hip and into the low back, okay? I expect that to happen. Now I can see some of you got your arms out, that's great. That's a balance strategy. So lift, press back, forward and down. Lift, press back, forward and down. To challenge yourself, take your hands onto the opposite edges. Up, out, back, down. They're going, oh God, that's smart. You got 2 more, 1 more each way. Ooh. Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And then release. Okay. Whew. Okay, so we've worked through the adductors and the abductors, so inner outer thigh. So what we're going to have a look at is the hip flexors, hip extensors. So we'll start with hip flexion. So here, okay. So in order to get the correct setup, let's put the band on the arch of the right and it remains on the ankle of the left. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Step and lift and out. So when we deliver on some of our older adult work, our falls prevention, we do a thing called a compensatory step where you step out. So should you feel unstable, you step out, and it's kind of it is a learned skill. So what we're doing is using resistant band, similar. So we're thinking about hip flexion, so under resistance, so we're building strength into the hip and creating load into the back. So this is really important stuff for strengthening the bones, and then pushing out under force. So we're lifting up and pushing out, lifting up and pushing out. So it is a compensatory step, but we learn it now. It'll do us well for life. Okay, when you're ready. What was that? Okay, right, just rock off your hips for a second. Okay, other side. So we're up and out. Up and out. So even Mary, even if you practice this without the band, it will serve you well. So it's important for us to really build that strength in here, because we spend a lot of time in sit, but with our muscles turned off. So now we're creating that sit position with the muscles turned on. So this is a good thing. And it's a very flattening thing to the lower abs, which is a nice thing. Okay. Well done, beautifuls. And then rest it off. Okay. Okay, so it's a bit of a rocker tot. So we are on a beam. So your feet don't have to be in a perfect. Can we switch to lower leg cam a minute? Oh, that's it, lovely. Okay, so you can see I'm coming at this from neutral, backwards. Okay, so my feet aren't in a fine line on a tightrope. We're just slightly wider on a ledge, if you like. So think about just rocking forward and backwards to start with. So again, the band is creating resistance and creating tension. So I am going to just step forward and then step back. Front foot, back foot. Now for me, where I'm tight, I'm going to really work on my inner thighs and thinking of the connection from the arch to inner knee to inner thigh. because otherwise where I'm strong, I tend to go out into the diagonal, and I don't want to do that. I'm really going to focus on this straight line, really focus on the inner thigh. Any chance you could open the door for a moment or two? So what you might start to experience is inner thigh coming down, maybe the back of the ham or the side of the hamstring in towards the knee on the back leg. When you're ready, let's switch. Staggered stance, just to get going. Think about straight lines. And when you're ready, lift back leg, lift front leg, lift back leg. Oh, so that's really interesting because that feels quite strong and uncomfortable for me where I have scar tissue. And I really want to keep my legs in a straight line. I'm conscious, and I can even see it in the camera. My toes just want to turn out on the diagonal. So I'm really focusing hard here. Really lift and drive through the back heel, keeping my feet pointing down towards the ground. So it's quite a challenge. So all of this, switching back other cam. So you keep going, you've got about 4 more rounds to go. Lovely. Okay. So you can see this is us going, oh hello, hips and legs. It's never ending, hey? Right, so this time we are popping the band onto the arches of the feet, and we're simply going for a little walk. So it might be forwards, backwards, in a circle. So all the time you are under tension. Now it might be that there's a bit of a zombie walk there. That's fine. All of this is really working lower body. Thinking about foot placement right the way through this. And you will thank me. It just might not be today. Well done. 8, 7, 6, 5. We're done. Right. Bring yourself down onto the ground. Sit back if you can, bottom onto your heels for a second. When I talk all the time, I can tell I can feel it going. Right. Undo your band. Okay, we're going to kneel on your band. Shoulders back and down. Just going to have a little look at our shoulders for a second, okay? So you're holding on to your band with strong arms, so a little bit of tension on. All we're going to do is roll the shoulders, but maintain grip and maintain tension. So you've so far kicked off like smashing out the hips and lower body. Let's think about what else is going on here. Okay, right, your palms are downwards, so you still got your overhand grip. We're just going to start to lift up one elbow at a time. Long neck. Now if you find grip is a challenge, you can wrap the band once around the hand if that helps with your grip. So that's not too bad, right? And then of course we're going to progress it. Double elbow. So it's a little fascia thing that I learned. It's a little tip. But if you lift your elbows up like this, do this at the same time once, ear down, and then to the other side, And it might free off, something might click in your back, or you might feel like a little bit of tension has left your back. It's a tip, it's a tip. Okay, that's fine, we've got this. So now we change, so the palms are facing forward, hold on with your thumbs. So we're going up to shoulder height, no higher. Shoulder height, no higher. So, not this. This. So I am looking at a straight line. I'm down the horizon of my arm. We don't need to go any higher, simply because the joint action changes and the scapula changes. So I don't want that. Okay, again, Chris, too much. Just work with the control and the alignment. So at the moment, because of the way I've set you, what will happen is your hands are kind of like sideways or slightly forward. So we're just going to change that up a minute. So give yourself a moment to rest. Okay, now what we're going to do is send the palms backwards, thumbs downwards. So it's a lift and squeeze back. So your hand goes up and back. So you are drawing half an arch. That's the movement. Okay. It might be that it's too much to do both hands together for now. So work on one side and then the other, if you want to. So what you should get out of this is a lovely little middle back squeeze. Yes, so it does. It's tough. It's tough on the shoulders, but it's really important because you've got like smaller muscle groups that sit underneath your shoulder blades. And we're sort of targeting in there. So it's really teaching the back fat. It's where your bra sits. That's where we're going into. Okay, now let's press it back. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Feels like a bounce. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Well, this morning I had to do a shorter class, so I had to kind of just raise the elements a little bit. Ditch your band for a second, pop your hands onto the opposite shoulders, really grip firmly and tuck your chin to your chest and create a lovely C shape with your back. Okay, right, feet okay? Right, still in seat if you can, so you're still bottom onto heels. This is the last exercise, then we come off the knees. Okay, we push back. Now, I find these hard because my muscles are strong in the wrong places. I want you to think, how high can you go here? Really push as far as you can. And what will start to happen is you'll start to feel middle of the back of the arm down into the elbow. If you're not going back far enough. So this is us engaging the triceps. If you're feeling it's front loading and into your neck, you need to take off some slack off your band. So this is our triceps work. Still keep the collarbone lifted, keep the shoulder blades depressed, whether it's one side at a time or both together. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, ow, 3, ow, 2, ow, last time, and release. God, that was awful. I'm not in a bad mood. Sit on your bum, just lean forward for a second. I want us to release the back for a second. Okay, so to assist movement, pop the band around the arches of your feet, and we're just going to really appreciate a lovely little stretch. Lean back, hold on to your band. We're just stretching and pulling through the back, creating that C shape with the spine. Chin towards your chest, pull your belly in. And then sit up, lovely. Release your hands, okay. So watch for a second. So I'm holding onto the band, so my setup is I'm holding onto the band halfway between my knee and ankle. Then I'm sitting up, bolt upright with my elbows at my ribs. So I'm hinging. Look at my eye gaze. Spine doesn't change shape at all. So this is assisting my movement because I'll find this a lot harder without the bands to support. Now again, if the grip is too intense, wrap the band around your hand, leaning back and upwards. I still free my finger. Okay, so the hip hinge is different to the C shape or the C spine. So sitting upright, we're now going to collapse into the spine and roll. Still keeping your elbows tucked in at your waistline. So we're rolling. And because we're static, so the arms aren't really changing, that's a really nice place to be for the biceps. So we're shortening that front arm pulley. We're shortening it under tension and holding it there. So even though the body's coming into a lovely C shape, we've got some really lovely isolation going on into the upper arm. Creating that lovely articulation through the spine. Now watch this change and decide whether you want to come with me on it. Only because of dizziness, okay? So I'm rolling back. Now here's the change. Did you see that? So chin to chest, roll back as far as I can and holding because my arms are fixing me. And then from there, I'm allowing my head to drop back and squeeze my shoulder blades. Note, it can irritate at the esophagus a little bit, so be okay with that. So let's have a look at how that looks again. Rolling back, chin to chest, chin up, chest lift, and then roll up. Have a play with it because it will feel completely alien. What I'm looking for is spinal articulation. So, and the spine needs to move in sequence. So it's just creating those waves with your spine, inflection forward or extension backwards, okay? So have a play with it. Use your arms, don't be afraid to use your shoulders. So really pinch between your shoulder blades and then kind of let yourself go. So it's a lovely feeling when you start to master it, but it does feel a bit odd to get going. Last time, roll back, relax. Oh, how are we doing? Oh, we're doing really well. Okay, so assisted movement, and I like this. Still, any circle movement with the hip is still my favourite, but this is assisted movement. So we have got band around the arch, hold onto the band. The closer you hold onto the band, the more tension we have. And we're going to start with drawing some circles. Don't worry about the left leg so far. So just enjoy the hamstring stretch. Switch direction. Now what's starting to happen is your knee on the left side is starting to have a bit of a mind of its own. So it's kind of creating an opposite movement or a mirroring movement. So now what we're going to do is lengthen that left leg and we're going to make the right leg as big as possible. So the right heel down towards the ground, right heel up and out towards the side, up and over, across the body, across the midline, back to its starting point. Switch sides. Switch direction, I meant direction. So use your arms, relax with this. Lovely. Last time. Okay, switch sides. So feet up in the air, switch the band onto the arch, right knee's bent to start with. Just familiarise yourself with the circles, see how it feels. Notice that your right leg is doing its own thing. Maybe switch direction. It's nice, isn't it? Just nice to engage the whole hip like this. Again, Mary, small circumductions, but you're controlled, and that's the nice thing about the band assisting movement. Okay, so now we stretch out the right leg, left heel towards the ground, left heel as far out to the side. Oh God, that felt beautiful. My entire back. Did you hear that? The whole of the spine went grrrr. Such a powerful movement. Any hip circle. Oh, I said one way then the other, didn't I? And don't be afraid to go over the midline of the body as well. Lovely. Okay, and then rest out for a second. Woo! Okay, so I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. Allow the knees to drop out if you can. If you find that's too much, what you can do is you have a cushion on the outside of the knee. So when you relax them, you can have them dropping onto a cushion so you feel a bit more supported. For the rest of you, just try and let it go. Okay, so now we're coming back to the band. In terms of tension on, hands towards the ceiling. Again, if you want to wrap the band around your hands for comfort, you can. So what I'm looking for is you to be able to bring the elbows towards the ground and back up to the ceiling. Upper body only. The feet are set where they are so we can relax the lower body. Okay, so upper body only. Elbows to touch the ground and back up again. Elbows to touch. So I've got a flat hand because I've wrapped the band around my palms, and that helps with the grip. So this movement, each time, elbows come down to your side, the band stretches maybe at the bottom of your bra line, if that makes sense. Neck long, shoulders depressed. Okay, and relax. We're going to increase the slack on the band. So you're still set, hands just roughly wider than shoulder width. You're still set like that, but instead of massive tension on, it's just set at natural, neutral, normal. Okay, because we do this. Elbows touch, and then you're going to push your hands out, reset, and then to sky. Keeping your pelvic floor relaxed, keeping your knees dropped out. So elbows touch, push out, and rise. Down, push out. Now work on the flatness of your shoulder blades. The bottom of your shoulder blade is really touching into the mat. Your neck is long, your arms are tired. You regret being here in this class today because suddenly you decided that she's gone nuts. You feel relaxed. Keep relaxing your waist, keep relaxing your hips, keep relaxing your pelvic floor. Push. Lovely. Good work. Push. Lovely. Very nice to see. Well done, and release. Just relax off your hands for a second. Entwine your fingers, send your palms towards the ceiling because your grip is worked really hard. Now, entwine your fingers, palms to ceiling, and then circle with your thumbs. It just helps to release off the palm a little bit. Stretch off your elbows and release. We're not done. Okay, so revisiting with a hip circle, a circle band. Okie dokie, and we're going to pop that band at the top of your knees, the bottom of your thighs. Okay. Right, we're just going to abduct again. Press your knees out to the sides. Press and release, and press and release. So if you feel the need to take your feet wider as your starting position, that's fine. Press out and release. So at the moment, the band is at the top of your knees. Now, if you want to make this more intense, you can take the band at the bottom of your knees and come into tabletop and do the same. So knees wide and bring them back up, wide and bring them back up. Well done. Okay, last time. Out and hold, tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, little presses. Tiny, weeny, stop and hold. Extend the leg, flex the feet. Okay, well done. Bend the knees, breath in again, kick wide, and I want you to really drop your toes towards the ceiling, heels nice and high, squeeze your inner thighs. Bend the knees, last time. So we extend through the knees, flex through the feet, drive the heels high towards the ceiling, squeeze the inner thigh, hold, hold, hold. Bend the knees, draw the knees together. As we come towards our finish, the feet are now on the arches of the feet because we're going to press away. Single leg stretch each time. So we're pressing away and pulling one knee into chest. Use your hands if you need to assist. We've got 20 of these to go. 20. 19. Good. So strength work, team. So as I said, if you want to hold on to your knees to assist the movement, you can. That's tough, isn't it? I think we got 3 to go, am I right? 2, last time. And release. Draw your knees into chest, just give yourself a hug. Woo! Okay. Ditch the band. Keep your knees drawn in. Okay. Now I'm going to offer you scorpion before we come into relaxation. So if you want to, you can roll over onto your belly. Just even rolling on your belly and pressing your elbows into the ground and lifting up through your shoulders can be enough because you've done quite a lot of work in flexion today and working those psoas and hip flexor muscles. If you want to, you can take your hands wide and out to the side, lift left leg, bring it up and over towards right hand and switch, lift right leg up and over and back again. What this enables you to do is to stretch out through your shoulders, which is why it's such a nice piece of work. So keep your palms down, really focus on keeping your shoulders to the ground. Well done. One more each side. Now when you're ready, either roll over or and bring yourself into a seated position. Right, you can shut the door now if possible, please, lovely girl. Okay. So making yourself nice and comfortable, either sitting down or lying down. I talked about the breath connection last week, just really focusing on the breathing, making yourself comfortable. Choose where you want to be. I always pick beaches and water, but that is definitely the water baby in me. But what I want you to do is just focus on your breath. So to quickly switch into that parasympathetic breathing, we hold breath, sniff it in, and challenge the body. The out breath is always longer than the in breath, okay? And we do that under stress and pressure, so switching cameras if you can. So under stress and pressure, we would go, take a breath. And that would be really normal for us to do that. Just hang on, just catch your breath for a minute. So focus on that bit. Just put in time into that, the out breath. Make it audible. Do whatever it is that helps you to get a good catch of breath. Ooh, I look interesting. Got some kind of mask on. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is to focus on what body parts touches the ground beneath you. So it might be your ankles, your heels, back of thigh. When I say beneath you, whatever you're pressed against, so it might be your shoulder blades, the back of your head. Just think about where your body is touching surface. Now focus on where your body's not touching. So think about your shoulders that might be exposed. Maybe you can feel a draft. Maybe your toes feel a little bit chilly. Think about where air touches your body. I think about your hands. Do they feel warm? Do they feel stretched, tingling maybe? Maybe you feel the need to release your hands just a little bit more. Maybe they naturally curl as you relax. And then notice your elbows to your shoulders. Have your shoulders relaxed? Does your neck feel long? Now we move away from there. We take our awareness to our feet. Are you in socks, bare feet? Is there pressure from where you're sat or lying down? Now notice your tailbone and each small bone that moves up your spine, one vertebra at a time. And think about our little tendrils that move away from the spine to the outside edges of your body at each bone. So each vertebra, think about little tendrils that just stretch out laterally across your body, just all the way up to your shoulders. Now think about your face, your nose, your jaw, is it relaxed? Your tongue, is it relaxed? Your teeth relaxed? Okay, now we sigh. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Last time, breath in. This time just let it go. Okay, well done. So from here, we now start to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, stretch your hands out nice and wide. Bring your hands up nice and high into a high V. Bring your hands together so they touch, your palms into the center of your heart space. And then give yourselves a circle, a round of applause. Well done. Well done, lovely people. That was excellent work today. I'm really proud of you because I threw a lot at you. So well done. How do you